All righty righty, it is time to start the stream, so I am going to go ahead and start the stream. Yesterday we left off, we had finished going through all of the photos from this little photo shoot that I did all the way back in February, and now it's time to edit those photos. We've picked out the top selects, the best ones, the best of the best of the best of the best, and now it's time to go in. I already started on this one a little bit. I'm going to jump in here in a second, I'll show you, but... Ooh, yes, good bot, pretzel bot. But what we have here, I'm going to show, first I got to raise up my brightness so I can actually see what I'm doing. And then we're just going to jump right into editing. And I'm not going to take up too much time introducing everything because this is a project that I've been working on now for the past couple streams, so like there's no point in reintroducing it each time. I remember last stream I was a little bit unsure of whether I was going to go ahead with this photo or not, because it's honestly it's not too inspiring, and so there's still some things to be said, things to be done. I'm gonna edit it for now. I'm gonna finish it up and see where it gets us. I was just working on some saturation stuff, and then we'll go from there. So I don't think there's too much more I could do about this one. There isn't so much color in this photo to bring out. There isn't so much as to interesting things that I could even be doing with this to pull out the saturation and the oranges a little bit more, but that is not necessarily necessary, so I think we'll keep it like that. I think that's good. Although actually now I kind of want to desaturate it a little bit. There you go. Okay, and I think my goal for this batch of editing is like, okay, so Pixar is famous for doing this. So every single one of their movies, if you didn't know, or at least until like the last 5 years, I honestly haven't seen a Pixar movie in a long time, and that's my own fault. Like I know Inside Out was apparently really good. I want to go out and watch Incredibles 2, which should still be in the theaters at this point. I don't know what day it is, but July 3rd. July 3rd, it should still be in the theaters, but I'll probably end up not going to the theaters to see it. Honestly, I just don't enjoy going to the theaters anymore. It's kind of sad, but I even with everything that movie theaters have tried to do to get people back into the theater, I just like I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. In my opinion, the experience is now worse. Like it used to be, theaters I especially don't like the assigned seating. And I know that's probably like a pretty controversial opinion to have, because I feel like everyone likes, like, you know, picking your seats with your ticket. But I actually liked it before because it was about time. It was first come, first serve. Whereas this, you can get your tickets online like a week in advance and then get your seats then. And I just like the idea of like going there, showing up early, trying to get a good seat. It's kind of like a race. Like everyone's racing to the theater at once, trying to get a good seat, trying to sit down. And it's not like that anymore. They took all the fun out of that. They do have at the theater near me, they do have like the really nice reclining seats though, and I think that's kind of the whole trend nationwide, is what I've seen. That's what I've heard. But I remember, I remember when my theater first made the switch over, and it was like, what? I don't have to sit in these extremely uncomfortable seats for 2.5 hours or 2 hours straight to watch a movie where my neck is like bending up backwards, and it's really small and uncomfortable and just like rigid and like not at all nice. And now there's like these really nice giant, like you get enveloped by the seat that you're sitting in. And you just like recline it back. They have electronically reclining seats. It's like, that's not even necessary, but I guess they're really trying to get people back into theaters. But with all those changes, I've gone to theaters less and less and less and less, which is really interesting. So I don't know what the answer is. The fact that I can sit at home and watch a movie without even getting out of bed, that makes me really unwilling to go to the theaters, you know? Like, if I don't have to leave my house, I'm not going to leave my house. That's basically That's the way I see it, and I don't have to leave my house anymore. The problem is I always tell myself with these movies is like, oh, I'll watch it when it comes to HBO, or I'll watch it when it comes to Netflix or whatever, and then I never do. And that's one of the problems that I face, but that's why I'm so far behind on all the Pixar stuff. Let's see, okay, I like that. I'm actually gonna try to desaturate this one, which is like, get rid of the contrast, desaturate it a little bit. Maybe not that much. But yeah, that's why I'm so far behind on all of my Pixar stuff, is because I haven't gone to the theaters, so there's no point. I mean, there was no way for me to have seen all that stuff. I actually kind of like this. I think it would be interesting to add some split toning into the shadows, add some more blue, make it even colder. Like that, maybe, perhaps, perhumps, something like this will do. If I don't have to get out of my bed to go see a movie, I'm not going to get out of my bed to see a movie. And all these movies eventually do come to Netflix and HBO and everything, so I don't have to get out of my bed, and I'm not going to. I think the problem with that is, like, going to the theaters is supposed to be more of like a spectacle. It's like it's an event. It's not just like I'm gonna throw on a movie now. It feels different, and I don't know. There just aren't that many movies that make me want to do that. Even though, I mean, it's not like a big deal, but it's like, it's almost like now that I can watch movies from my house, the movie has to be even better for me to want to go out and see it in theaters. You know, I think that makes sense. I think that's a pretty good, it's all like subconscious, like, there hasn't been a movie, I think the last movie that I saw in theaters was, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I want to say, because I actually really enjoyed the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. I know a lot of people, including myself, are pretty worn down in terms of like superhero things. Like, we've had enough. We've had enough. We've had enough of the superhero stuff. We don't need it anymore. And that's kind of my mentality about things. And it's also, I think other people share that as well, which is good. I think that's a good thing because I agree. But I feel like the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff kind of, it sort of transcends the genre, and no one's ever even heard about the Guardians of the Galaxy until those movies came out, so like, I didn't even really know it was a superhero movie. I just thought, I didn't know they were ever gonna make it part of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I was just like, oh, you know, it's just another franchise, whatever. To me, what I saw, like, I still remember when the trailers first came out for that, and I was like, wow, this is like basically a modern day Star Wars is what I saw it as. Ooh, I like that a lot. Something like that. I saw it as like a modern day Star Wars, because like it's in space, it's a team of a sort and there's like, Chris Pratt is kind of like Han Solo a little bit with the vest, especially in the first movie with the vest and everything and the gun and whatever. And from the trailers, you know, I didn't know too much about it. Obviously, it's very different, but even still, I still compare it to Star Wars. It's the Star Wars of our generation, and that was before. I can't tell I don't remember if that was before George Lucas sold the rights to Star Wars yet or not. But regardless, it was before that The Force Awakens came out. And so like everyone was just clamoring for more Star Wars content and they wanted more, including myself. I didn't know that the new trilogy was going to be as bad as it is. As disappointing as it is, I should say. I remember when I went to the theaters to see The Force Awakens. It was the first Star Wars movie I had ever seen in theaters, because all the other ones obviously either came out before I was born or when I was still like pretty young. So I never went to the theaters to see a Star Wars movie before The Force Awakens. And it was like this huge spectacle because I mean I grew up watching Star Wars and playing, especially playing Star Wars video games. I think that more than anything that drew me to the franchise was not the movies, but actually the Lego games, the entire Lego Star Wars trilogy. I bought that on the PS2. I had it on the Wii. I had it on the PlayStation 3 as well at some point. And I just played them over and over and over again and fell in love with those games and had so much fun with those games. And I I know a lot of people hate the Star Wars prequels, but I don't have a problem with the Star Wars prequels at all because I was first introduced to them through the Lego games, and you know, especially back then, well, yeah, just back then, the Lego games didn't have dialogue, so George Lucas wasn't there writing it to mess up all of the dialogue, you know, about sand being coarse and rough and getting all over. That wasn't part of the Lego game, but the story was still there, and the story is still interesting. I mean, it's the basic concepts of it. The characters are interesting and funny, especially in the Lego games. Like, it's such a great... It was the perfect medium for Star Wars, I feel like. And so I played all of those. That's how I watched the original trilogy while playing I watched the original trilogy while playing the Lego games, but the prequels, I never even actually watched the prequels until last year. But I knew about them so much because obviously the cultural impact, the cultural relevancy, and everyone is always making fun of them and, you know, all that. But I knew about them through the video games because I already knew about all of it through the video games, so I never actually watched them. I watched them like a couple times when I was really, 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 really young, but I didn't have a good enough grasp to be able to I didn't remember them or understand them even, really. So I actually was first exposed to Star Wars through those the video games, which I think is really interesting. It's probably a different perspective than most people have, and people might get mad at me for that, like, yeah, you're not a real Star Wars fan, you just play those stupid video games, but you would be wrong, I feel like. I'm very knowledgeable in my Star Wars now because of that, and I wouldn't have otherwise been. So between the Lego games and then Star Wars Battlefront, the original, not the remake, not the EA remake, the EA remake that ruined the franchise, in my opinion. Not those people, not those games, but the originals for the PlayStation 2. My brother and I used to play those all the time. It was so much fun. And so I learned, that was my first exposure to Star Wars, was through that stuff. I kind of want to get the green, it looks like there's like a little bit of green in here, doesn't there? Like there's a green in the shadows. How do I remove that? What's the opposite of green on a color wheel? Let's check. Like a red? Like a red, I'm thinking red. Or a yellow? No. Red, I don't know. Like a blue, a purple. So let's add some purple into the shadows. To get rid of that green, yeah. But not that much. Even that's a lot. Okay. Alright. I just wanted a little bit. What about that? Maybe one less? So that was my exposure to the Star Wars stuff. And so when I first went to the theaters, that was the first... Oh, I like that a lot, actually, adding that magenta. I think the magenta is the way to go with this photo shoot. I know I was looking at other photos from the last stream. There was one photo in particular that the JPEG already had a lot of magentas in it, and I was like, I saw that and I was like, ooh, wow, that looks good. Let's do that. So that's probably going to be the way to go. I think I'm actually going to bring it down one more though, just so it's not too overpowering. That's good. Okay. And so going back to what I was saying about when I first went into the theaters to see The Force Awakens, that was like a really, 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 really big deal for me because I had never seen a Star Wars movie in theaters, and I've been such a fan for my entire life. and there was so much build up to it. I mean, if you remember the marketing, Disney spent billions on marketing, worldwide especially. But like, it was just everywhere. There's Star Wars this, Star Wars that, Star Wars this, Star Wars that, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. And everyone bought into the hype, including myself. I bought a shirt for The Force Awakens before, well before the movie even came out. Because I was like, yeah, I know the movie's gonna be good. I know the movie's gonna be good. So I might as well just buy the shirt now and get a head start on everyone else, you know? That was my logic and reasoning. Terrible decision. I'll never do that again. But I was really hyped for it, and I got to see it in theaters. I was in Hawaii, actually, when it came out. So we ran to the theaters in Hawaii, and we watched the movie in theaters. And I still remember that, obviously the score in that movie, and in that franchise, is like so powerful. And just to hear that opening music, like and then see Star Wars pop up on screen, that was like that was an emotionally impactful moment. I was like, wow, this is crazy. I'm actually in a theater watching Star Wars, its first run, and I'm watching it for the first time in a theater with all these people. The theater was completely packed because we went opening weekend, and it was just like it was a moment. It was a moment. And then to hear the score go on, and it opens with like Rey. She's like sitting in like a spaceship, and so it opens with like a panning shot of the desert with a fallen ship in it, and the score is playing, and it was just like it was a crazy moment. It was a crazy moment. Just sitting there and watching Star Wars in theaters for the first time ever. And I still remember that when I left the theaters that day, I was disappointed. Immediately. Before it was cool to hate on Star Wars, because now the cool thing to do is to hate on Star Wars. The new trilogy, I mean. It's cool to hate on the new trilogy now, especially after The Last Jedi came out. And after Rogue One came out, and after the Han Solo movie came out, it's really cool to be hating on the Disney Star Wars. But that day, I started, and I just said, like, I don't think that was good. And I remember I got into a fight with my brother about it because he was watching, sitting there right next to me. And he was like, "What? Are you crazy? Did you not just see the same thing that I saw?" And I think that was sort of the same response from everyone else, is that everyone else everyone else spent years waiting for that moment, waiting to see a new Star Wars movie, waiting. Oh, I realize now that these two things are the same photo. And this one's a lot better. So I'm gonna get rid of this one. I don't think there's anything interesting in this one. I think it's kind of out of focus too. Oops. I'm just gonna get rid of it. People spent not just the months leading up to it, years leading up to it, including myself and including my brother and everyone had waited years for that moment, and so they had bought into it so much and invested so much time and passion and energy into that moment, into waiting to see a new Star Wars movie, live action in theaters, that they refused to not just admit the movie's shortcomings, but they refused to even see it. Like, subconsciously, they were not able to. They were not capable of seeing it because their own minds were. Disney pulled a Jedi mind trick on everyone in the theater that saw that movie. Unfortunately. But I think definitely over time, people came around to the same conclusions that I had made, which was, it's basically a remake of A New Hope. I think that's a sort of common thread that everyone has agreed upon. And also, it just wasn't that good. It wasn't I think there's way too much comedy in it to be Star Wars, and Star Wars was funny before. The original trilogy was funny, but it was funny in a way, it wasn't over the top funny. It certainly wasn't a comedy. There's nothing about Star Wars that was a comedy, unless you're talking about like Shakespearean comedy, in which case, yes, it is. But it's not. It wasn't like over the top, ridiculously funny, laugh out loud. There were no moments that were set up like that. Whereas there was way too much trying to be funny in The Force Awakens, and I hear the same things about The Last Jedi, by the way. Still haven't watched it. I refuse to watch it because now I'm... The problem with movies nowadays, and that... like, I'm just so burnt. I've been burnt by so many of them. That's another reason why I refuse to go to the theaters now. Is that you look at superhero movies, a lot of them are good. But they're only good. They're not great, they're not amazing. They don't warrant me taking a trip to the theater, and I learned that the hard way by going to see every other superhero movie. For the phase 1 and phase 2 of Marvel, I was there every single release, and even for a little bit of phase 3, and then I was just like, these movies actually aren't that great. Like, they're good, they're good movies, they're certainly well made, they're put together well, they're crafted well, but they're not like great movies, so why am I even here? I'm just gonna read the plot online, or ask someone else who saw the movie to tell me what happened, so that way I understand all of the cultural references, because obviously, clearly, it's taken over the culture. So you have to be informed. You have to stay informed, but I also refuse to watch them because I don't want to, because they're not that good. So I refuse to watch them. And so that's what happened with the superhero movies, the Marvel ones, especially the DC ones, which is so disappointing. And I've talked about before on stream too. Is that I'm a huge fan of the DC, not of the DC movies, of the DC characters. Because I grew up watching the animated shows that used to run on Cartoon Network and Fox too as well. And I used to be a huge fan of those. Growing up, because that's what I watched. And so I love Batman, I love Superman, I love Wonder Woman, I love the whole cast there. And yet I go to the theaters now to watch the DCEU, and all of the movies have been awful except for Wonder Woman. I hear, because I haven't even watched that yet. But I've seen the Superman ones. I've seen Batman vs. Superman. I saw Justice League as well. I saw Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was almost bad enough to be funny. Almost. It was almost that bad. Because there's like the perfect valley of like, if you're right in the middle between good and bad, like you're just so boring and so bland and uninteresting, then you're right in the middle and like you're just like unwatchable. But if you're even more bad, then it starts becoming funny. And definitely parts of Suicide Squad hit that mark, in my opinion. Like when Will Smith is oh gosh, when he finds out that they have the I don't know if it's at that moment exactly, but like he finds out that they have the bombs in their collar, like if they do something wrong they'll be killed, and they're being contracted to go in and take out a massive supervillain, and the people behind it know that they're most likely going to die in this effort, and Will Smith figures that out, and he's like, what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad? And that was like the funniest moment in a while. That was funnier than a lot of stuff that I've seen in theaters for a while. There's also the really great meme that got created as a result of Suicide Squad that was like the Joker and Harley Quinn. It's like and she was his queen, and God help anyone who dare mess with his queen. It's just like the worst, strangest bit of dialogue ever created. It's really great. Great in an awful way. Great in a really bad way. Alright, so I have to figure out how to fix this fringe. How do I fix this fringe? Oh, I don't have it set to anything. This is always more difficult. I might have to pull this into Photoshop to fix this one. Let's actually, we should probably not do that. We should probably just fit it right into Photoshop. Come on. What does that look like? This might not be too bad. But the point being that I actually got rid of a good chunk of it, but I'll do it in Photoshop. The point being that I've been burned so many times by those movies that it's hard for me to even continue going to the theaters, even though I love those characters and that property so much. I was just like, I can't bring myself to do that. But I hear now that they're actually rebooting the Batman, or they're coming out with that solo Joker movie, which people have theorized and heard rumors about now for the past year and 2 years or something, which is really exciting because I think it's really odd to have a solo Joker movie. I don't think it'll work. I don't think he can work well in a solo movie, but it's also like being produced by Martin Scorsese or directed or something, which I have faith in that being good. I certainly have faith in that being good. And I think it's an interesting take to bring the character and focus on like the gang and then the organized crime aspect of that character. I think it's an interesting take, certainly. I hope they get it right. But honestly, at this point, the thing is, I'm happy with any reboot because basically anything that they could possibly throw out there will be better than what they have out there right now. Because the DCEU stuff is really awful, really uninspired. It's so clearly just like a cash grab. That's the other thing that I hate about it, is that it's so clearly a cash grab that basically like the fans are being exploited by Warner Brothers and the companies behind this that are pushing out these movies, especially on the DC side, not as much on the Marvel side, but especially on the DC side, because they know that there is such a big following for these characters, so that why even bother trying to put together a good movie? People are going to come to the theaters to see it no matter what, so let's just throw some crap at the door, and then people will come to the door and watch it, basically. And I really hate that approach to making a movie, and so I refuse to financially support it. So that's another reason why I don't go to the movies to see. I refuse to go to the movies to see one of the DC. I will not go to the theaters to see another DCEU movie, probably ever. But the fact that they're rebooting it now gives me hope. It's a little bit late. I mean, the whole thing started late, and that's why it's such a problem, is because it was so clearly just a rushed response to what Marvel was doing. Marvel has spent now 10 plus years making movies, whereas Man of Steel only came out 5 years ago. I don't actually know, but like 5-6 years ago, half that time. And Warner Brothers and DC expects people to have the same amount of emotional connection to those characters as they do to the Marvel ones, even though they fail to realize that the Marvel ones have been built up by movie after movie after movie after movie. And that's just not the case of the DC ones, so. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I'm just gonna sit and wait for greener pastures, basically. And hopefully they come. Alright, I like that. I will come back to this one to remove the fringing in Photoshop. Honestly, I don't know what else we could do to fix this either. But to me, these aren't great shots. I actually like this one now. Excuse me. I like this one a little bit. I like that one a little bit. I think that one is actually too saturated now. I'm trying to keep it more calm because it doesn't fit. There's nothing too saturated really here. It's all just like a bunch of dead, dying leaves and trees and open skies, and it's kind of, you know, it's kind of not interesting to look at or to saturate. There's no color there. Basically the oranges and the greens and the blues, but then you kind of get a messy photo because there would, if I was to pump up the saturation on this photo, there would be a lot of dissonance in between the subject matter and the coloring and the vibrance of the actual photo. So I feel like I want to stay away from that for now. Oh, this one's a really similar one too. What did I mark this as? Let me mark this as yellow, as in go ahead and you open up Photoshop and fix it. Alright, let's go to this. I don't like this stuff shot directly into the sun. I think it's something that I thought was cool at the time, and I realized, like, actually no, this isn't that cool. This isn't very interesting. And I don't like how you can see the houses in the background either, because that breaks the illusion. It ruins my immersion to be able to see houses in the background. I thought this was a forest. You know, that's my thought and theory on this. So I'm thinking that I just get rid of this photo entirely. Whoop. Remove the flag. I like how it says remove flag. For some reason that is interesting to me. Like you're stealing it. You're stealing it. You're taking the flag from the photo. How dare you? Alright. This I like. This one is a lot more interesting. This one has better. This one has better. This one's better. I like the orange, the naturally occurring orange in this one. Let's see what I can do with that. But again, I don't want things to be too orange because this is not fall. This is not a fall photo. It looks very much like a fall photo, but it's not a fall photo. Falto. It's not a falto. It's a winter photo. It's very solidly, firmly a winter photo. Yeah, see, the removing the chromatic aberration doesn't work on stuff like up here. But we just crop it out anyway, so take that, won't you? Alright, I like that, because that needed to be done. That was a good fix. Good fix, gentlemen. Alright. Let's see what we have here. This is good. This is decent. This is okay. This is awful. The 7 stages of grief over a photo. This is good. This is bad. This is okay. This is awful. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. I actually kind of like it, and it's meh. I don't think that was 7, but I wasn't counting, and I don't care. So I don't want to pump up the oranges too much in this photo, because if I do, then it becomes a fall photo. And it's definitely not a fall photo. I like the color in the sky. Do I like the color in the sky? What if we could do this? And basically white it out. That's kind of scary. Oh, what if we do this? What if we do reset. What if we do like that? So it's a firm blue, and then we come to hue, the hue of our blue, and change it to like a deeper blue, like a purple sky. Enter an orange colored sky, or whatever, however that song goes. Oh, I like that. It's more of a fantasy kind of edit. No, let's get rid of that. Let's go like this. Can we push it more? I thought we could push it more. What if we push it more? Go to like that. Can we not push it anymore? What's wrong? That pushes it some. But now can I grab, oh, this is like probably red now. I don't know what the program considers this color to be now. We've got a purple colored sky. Let's see. Not magenta. Interesting. I don't know. So let's do like a very subtle tweak. We could change it green. Ooh. I actually think that the green could work as sort of reminds me of mucus. Like it's a congested sky because it's sick. You know, it's got a cold. It's winter time. It's got a cold. I think that's kind of that's interesting coloring. That's more interesting. All right, let's see what we can do with the yellow here. And change the orange to yellow. So things look even more sickly. Ooh, gosh, it's like a gross. But I don't want to do it too much now. I've gone too far. So let's have that, and let's have this as well. To something like that. And it's just it's an ever so slight, sickly vibe, you know, a little bit. It's like a gross vibe to it. Let's bump this up actually a little bit. Oop, not that much. Okay, there we go. What about that? I think that's looking good. Looking good. All right, we have shadows, whites, blacks. Is there anything? We could just kill the contrast on this. That would be interesting, right? Like that. And then you have such a contrast here. That's such an obvious yellow color now. Ooh, I like that. And I think I actually kind of want to bump up the yellow some more. Yeah. It's very clear. It's much clearer now. Okay. I think that's good. I think this tree adds a lot. It's not entirely visible, but I think it adds a lot in terms of what it looks like. It adds some more interest as opposed to this area just being, there's like a hole here, right? Because tree, which leaves this wide open space down here. And if this tree wasn't here, there would be a really big space open. But this gives you something to look at least. It's at least something. Might not be a lot, but it's at least something. All right. Library. Let's go back to the library. Can I ask you a question about the library? The library. February and library are very similar. I just realized that right now. And I talked about yesterday, why is February even a word? No one says it like that. Everyone says February. February. We're missing R's. It's not that bad though. I sympathize with people that say February because it's a lot easier to say. Whereas other things like nuclear or I'm going to ask you a question, or I'm very frustrated, that's more frustrating. It's more frustrating to hear frustrating than it is to hear February. It's like the new thing, the new like pet peeve is like picking up on the tiny little dialect differences. They're just mispronunciations of words, essentially. But it's like, it's so common. Why are those okay, whatever. Okay. I like that. This one. Oh, I thought we were gonna get rid of this one, yeah. We're getting rid of this one. We're keeping this one. If you want to know why, go watch the video from yesterday, the stream from yesterday. It's on my Twitcher. It's on my Twitch. It's on my Twitch.com. What is Twitch.com? I'm going to Twitch.com right now, and I'm going to figure out why is it Twitch.com. All right, let me sit down. I'm fine. I'm figuring it out for everyone. Twitch.com. This is the answers that we've all needed. Oh, what? It just brings you to Twitch. Twitch.com brings you to Twitch TV, Twitch.tv. It's weird how they decided to go with .tv. I know it started out as Justin TV, right? And then it just evolved into Twitch TV. But it could easily just be Twitch.com. Okay, whatever, well. Moving along. On Twitch.com. I'm not a Twitch.tv streamer, I'm a Twitch.com streamer. There's a difference. Alright. Let's see. I like this one. Honestly, because I shoot with the JPEGs, with the sidecar JPEG, sidecar. I like how they're called sidecar files. It reminds me of like old Batman and Robin cartoons, or like Scooby-Doo cartoons too, where like Shaggy would drive the motorcycle, and then Scooby-Doo would be riding along in the sidecar of the motorcycle, and that's what the JPEG file is. It's riding along in the sidecar of the RAW file. I like that. But I'm a Twitch.com streamer. Okay. The thing about having those JPEGs there in the sidecar, the sidekick. The JPEG is the sidekick. The thing about having those there is that I don't like how the sky is not even. Seems like no matter what I do, the sky will not be even without selective edits. So I wonder if it's worth it to bring this into Photoshop. I think the answer is yes. I think the answer is yes, it is worth it to bring it into Photoshop. So I will do that. But let me do some basic adjustments first. The thing about having the sidecar there, the sidecar files there, is that there's very little in terms of editing that I actually do need to do. Because things like saturation and coloring, like color correcting, all that stuff has already been figured out. And I know that's the exact reason why you wouldn't want a JPEG, because if you decided to do something differently, then you have that data to push and pull and play with. But oftentimes I side with my camera. I'm just like, yeah, you go, guy. You guy, go. And I just roll with whatever my camera pushes out, for the most part. This is a little bit of a difference. I think vignetting could work here. I think possibly. Add a little bit more suspense, a little bit more drama. A little bit more drama. I think that's a good idea. Alright. Add some more sharpening, as always, because we are shooting at like ISO 100 or whatever. So it's really not that big of a deal. Even if we introduce some noise, oh no, we're introducing some noise, oh, big BFD, big freaking deal. All right, let's see. Is there anything else to add? I just feel like it's so uninspiring. I feel like I need to, like I'm obligated to, let me just make sure that my microphone is, there we go. I feel like I'm obligated to edit something, you know? To make some edits, to make some changes. No, the green sky doesn't work. It actually looks a little bit purple, doesn't it? I think adding a little bit of green might actually help. Just a tad. Let's look. Let's keep it like that, maybe. It's really vibrant. I don't want it to be that vibrant, that's the thing. But I don't want to desaturate it before pulling this back. Actually, no, yeah, you know what? Let's do that right now. And then maybe I might not have to pull it into... Yeah, now I don't have to pull it into Photoshop, really. I will, though. No, I'll pull it in. Because this part down here needs to be even with that part down there. And I'm not exactly sure why. Because there's no light over here. Like, why is this area more white and blown out than this area? There's nothing, it's still sky. The sun is way over here. You know what I'm saying? The sun is over there, this is over here. Interesting how that works out, huh? I don't really know how to fix that. Like in camera, I mean, obviously I'm going to pull it into Photoshop now to fix it. But the point is that I shouldn't have to be doing that. Why? Why does it do that? It's like just at the horizon is doing that? Is that how the sky actually works? Wait, let me look outside now. I'm just staring out my window right now. I guess as you get closer to the horizon, this stuff is maybe the ground and the houses and everything is reflecting light back towards my camera, whereas that's not happening over here, and so it's creating a brighter area. Oh, yo, what up? Ma Firette. Hold on, wait, I got Mafferette. Is that right? That's right? I was just... I know I got your name right at one point. I'm gonna bank off of that. I'm just going over and editing some photos right now. I was pondering as to why this area here, which is the sky, is brighter than, like, for example, that area there, which is the sky. Yes, got it. Okay. Got it. How do you come up with that name, by the way? Just curious. People always ask me about my names on the internet when, like, they think that they always think that there's an interesting story behind them when really there's not. It's always been like that with every name that I've come up with on the internet. People are like, there's an interesting story behind it. Oh, what's your story? What's your story? And it's like, it's really not that interesting. It's just a dumb, throwaway name. Wendar, on the other hand, is an anagram for my real name, which is Andrew. And so that's how I came up with Wendar. And it actually is a strange story because, okay, hold on, wait, let me see. Your real life nickname is Mafi, and I just added Rhett, like dudette. Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah, okay. So yours is like similar to mine then. Interesting. See, I guess that's the thing. I guess people do come across people with interesting names, but I don't feel like my names have ever been that interesting. And aside from Wendar, I'm talking about other things like my PlayStation Network name and like Reddit names, and people are like, "Wow, how'd you get this?" or whatever. And it's just like usually very random. Like there's not like this whole crazy backstory to it. All right, I'm liking this. I'm gonna pull up the contrast a little bit more. And so I was really heavily playing Skyrim, and I needed a name for my character, because obviously when you're playing Skyrim, you've got to get like really deep into your character's lore. And I was like, how can I come up with a name for my guy? Yeah, coming up with nicknames is difficult. I absolutely agree. Usually what I do, this is my new thing now, it's my new thing for creating passwords too, is I'll sit at my computer and I'll just be like, what are the first 3 words that come to mind? Like, banana, pumpkin, spice. That's my new nickname. Or like, I'll make that my password. Don't try hacking me with that, because that's not an exact one. But I'll be marker, poster, roadblock. That's my new name. Or that's my new password. It's like it's just like really random things that just pop into my mind, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll roll with this. I'll go on with this. Yeah, let's see that. All right, I'm liking this. I think this one's one of my favorite photos so far. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, I got you. Oh, you know what? I haven't been marking these as 5 stars. I'm gonna pull that into Photoshop though. So Mafi, where does Mafi come from? Are you in the US? Or would you not be? It's okay if you're don't want to share that info. I am in the Northeast right now, the northeastern United States. Northeastern part of the United States. All right, let's go through. Okay, I've been looking forward to working with this photo because I think I can push the silhouettes even farther. I really like the perspective on this one. I like the distortion of the lens, how it curves out. I usually don't like it. I usually try to remove it, but I won't in this case, so I'm gonna roll with it. You're from Venezuela. Your name is Maria Fernanda. It's a short version, Mafi. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. You're in Spain now. How did that happen? You mean you're literally in Spain right now, like on a visit/trip, or you live in Spain now? And if you live there, how did you get there? What made you decide that? And if you're visiting there, why? Those are my questions. Boom, right back at you. Okay. Let's see. So, also, are you a photographer yourself, or are you just watching because you happen to stumble across this channel or whatever? You happen to stumble across my Twitch. I don't know what they're called on Twitch. I don't actually watch a lot of Twitch, ironically. And people will make fun of me for that. And it's like, why are you streaming on Twitch if you don't even watch Twitch? But the joke is on them because I am the one streaming. Okay, you live here now since 5 years ago. Okay, gotcha. What about my other question about if you're a photographer or not? Or you just happen to stumble across? Like, how did you find this channel? Twitch channel. Also, I found out earlier in the stream, did you know that twitch.com redirects to... Do I even want to do this? Let me see. I don't really want to do that. I might want to do that, though. I'm sort of torn. I'm a little bit torn. Because I think both look fine. But I think I like keeping the, that. And actually, I can make it more... I can make it more distorted, can I? Like that. Or was that the opposite way? I think that was the opposite of what I want. It's hard to tell. Yeah, let's make it more distorted. Oh, God. No, not that much. Let's just do a couple with that. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Oh no, did you... I'm assuming that you just have this on in the background now. Okay, never mind then. I just want. I'm always just interested in people that watch of whether they are photographers or not, because it gives me a good idea of like how in depth I should be when talking about photography, because I would understand like if I wasn't into photography myself, I wouldn't be interested in watching photographers work, if that makes sense. And so I can always talk about other stuff like I was talking about before. Twitch.com redirects to twitch.tv. So why they should just be called twitch.com, I don't know. I guess the .tv is something unique that they like. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna pull up the contrast here. I want this to be as dark as possible. So I'm also going to pull down the exposure so that way we can expose some of the sun and also some of the sky, but not that much, because you still need the brights up there. Otherwise, it doesn't look as cool. All right, we keep that. I want to bring the whites down so there's some more color in the sky as well. Like something like that, maybe. All right, how are we going there? You moved to Barcelona because of the bad situation in Venezuela, socio-political. Yeah, gotcha. See, I'm an uncultured, uneducated, unworldly educated. I'm not educated on the world, on the rest of the world, because I'm an uncultured, filthy American. But I kind of know that there are problems going on in Venezuela. So yes, gotcha. Twitch.com. I also saw that, obviously, Twitch.tv, there's a lot of Fortnite going on. I don't know if I talked about this on stream yesterday when I was streaming, but I played Fortnite for the first time. Crazy, I know. I played Fortnite for the first time. Oh, let me see. You found your stream because you're also a photographer and follow the photography community on Twitch. Oh, yes. Yes. Wait. Okay. Wait, do you stream yourself or do you just watch photography streamers? Because if you stream yourself, I will go and follow you right now. Because there are not enough photographer people on Twitch. Literally every time I look, I don't know how to follow from mobile. I think I just did. I think I just followed you. Every time, yeah, I followed you. Okay. Every time I go on Twitch to try to find a photographer, there is no one there. There's no one streaming. I don't understand. But we could team up. Wait, what time is it there in Spain? I just looked at my wrist like I had a watch. I'm not wearing a watch, and even if I did, that wouldn't tell me what time it was in Spain. What if I just carried a watch that told me what time it was in Spain? That would be odd. Okay. Yeah, I know. I get very excited as well because there's not enough of us. We need to band together. We need to unite. We need to get more photographers on Twitch, especially in the creative space. I love how Twitch has the creative category, but it always seems dominated by like music. I see a lot of music. I see a lot of people playing music on Twitch, which is actually kind of interesting. I don't know if you've ever watched. I occasionally jump in just when browsing Twitch. People. I'll be browsing at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and there'll be some person streaming on Twitch of them like banging drums together, creating music, and it's very odd, but it's certainly interesting. It's different than what I would have expected. It's 6:37. Okay, never mind then, because I was thinking that maybe the time difference is what was going on, because I don't know. I just feel like there's not enough photographers on. That's the point. There's not enough photographers on Twitch. We need more. We need to be more worldwide as well, so that way. You follow the guy that plays the cello. He's great. You should follow Erin Paris. She's a wedding photographer from Hawaii. All right, wait. I will look her up right now. Is that her Twitch? What's her Twitch name? Is it just Erin Paris with no spaces? Erin Paris. Oh, I'm assuming it's the underscore one. Okay. Wait, am I already following her? Apparently I'm already following her. Wait, that's so weird. What? I've literally never seen her stream before. And yet I'm following her already. That's weird. Okay. Ooh, okay. Maybe I did. Maybe I've dropped in a couple times and then I've never seen her online though. Okay. Yeah, I found it. Okay. I'm followed. I beat you to it, apparently. Apparently I'm already followed. I don't know. I don't know what to say there. I guess I'll try to drop in. It seems like every time that I go on Twitch, no one is streaming photography stuff, which is odd. Because I specifically look for it. I always look in the photography community. I look in the Photoshop community. I look up Lightroom in case anyone has tagged their video with Lightroom. And no one's ever on. Sometimes I have success, but very, very, very rarely. And then I'm sort of left like upset because I'm like I wanna watch. All right, let's see. I'm gonna see what I can do here. Ooh, I could potentially pull down the sun here. It's a little bit odd. See, I was talking about how I don't like shooting directly into the sun, but at the same time, this photo is a little bit, I like the shadow. I mean, I like the silhouetting of this picture here. So I'm gonna stick with it. So what do you usually shoot then? Maffarette. Because Erin Paris does weddings. I feel like there's a lot of wedding. Basically everything that I found of photography on Twitch has been wedding stuff, which I don't shoot. I have not shot a wedding yet. I hope I could one day, you know. But I mean, I'm not professionally making money off of my photography, so it doesn't really make sense for me to do a wedding. Like, that's not something that I'm quite interested in. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, put your the bot actually might delete it, but try it. You can try to link your Instagram. I can't stop it because I'm only able to read the chat through my phone. I'm only able to read the chat through my phone because my computer, I don't have two screens, I don't have two monitors, so I don't have it on my computer, so the bot might delete it by accident, but you can try. Because I would be interested. Oh, here you go. Okay, here you go. And now are you professional? Are you a professional? Like, are you... Yeah, okay, you are. To like people can book a shoot, I assume in Spain. Let's see. Wait, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna sit down and look at your stuff here in a second. Hold on. Just very quickly, and then I'll go back to it. The Twitch browser is so bad though. I can't go back. I can't go back to the rest of your photos already. All right. Let's see. I like your stuff. I like the portraits. Ooh. I like how you have a variety of work here too. You have black and white stuff. Interesting. I've been trying to get more into black and white myself. I've been trying to do a lot too. I've actually only had a camera for a little bit more than a year now. I mean, a real DSLR camera for a little bit more than a year now. I like it. Okay, cool. And so I'm still expanding all of the things that I'm capable of doing. Yes, I do have an Instagram. My Instagram should be... Oh, I think is it not down below? It might be down below. Check if it's down below in the Twitch stuff. It might not be, though. If not, it should be this, I think. Should bring you to my Instagram. I use it more as a, like, a photo diary, and so a lot of my stuff on there isn't, like, super high quality in terms of... It's not my most stunning shots, but it's just all of the shots that I take. So if you go on there and you're like, this isn't that good, that's why. I mean, there's some... I don't want to... It's all taken with my DSLR, but I'm saying it's not necessarily my pics from each of my photo shoots. Like, for example, I'm going through and posting a photo a day of my trip to Peru. And so it's just I'm basically just going through and posting every single one of the photos that I took from Peru. And so it's not necessarily like, whoa, like this one won't wow you, but it's just like what I did, what I happened to do that day. So I don't know if that makes any sense. Awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you for the follow. You don't get many clients, only a few paid stuff. Yes, okay, go ahead. I will still be here. All right, let me get back. We'll get back to photo editing, and I'll be here. Yeah. Okay, so what I was saying is, the other day I started playing Fortnite. Actually, what day is today? Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. So 1, 2, 3, 4 days ago was the first time that I ever started playing Fortnite at a friend's house. I went to a friend's house. Yeah. I went to a friend's house to play Fortnite. And previously, up until this point, I think I've talked about it on stream before, I had refused to play Fortnite because I feel like it's a fad, and it is a fad. Eventually we're all going to stop playing it, but clearly everyone is playing it right now. It's like the most popular game ever. It's the most popular game ever, I think. I mean, and that might not be statistically the truth, but in terms of its cultural relevance, certainly with the people that I talk to, it's the most popular game ever. And I don't just mean that like people are really into it, I mean that like everyone knows about it. And I think also what's really interesting about Fortnite is that like everyone is playing it. Like old people are playing it, young people are playing it, guys are playing it, girls are playing it, like everyone is playing it. And that's not really something that you see with a video game, or that's not something that I've ever seen with a video game before. Which is, it's kind of redefining the genre a lot. And it's obviously, it's a slow change. It's been a slow change. Video games have become more culturally accepted and relevant over time. And it's become less of like an outcast thing to do, and obviously like mobile games were a really big part of that in terms of pushing the medium of video games forward. Because why am I streaming? What kind of question is that to ask, Brandon? Why am I streaming? I'm streaming because I want to stream, because I have these photos to edit and I need to stream them. And so over time, video games have become more prominent in our culture, in our society, and more accepted, like I'm saying. Like, it's not viewed as like an outsider thing to do anymore. And that's because of mostly mobile games. I feel like mobile games were a really big push, but also even things like, I mean, you see it in movies too, like superheroes. People used to get made fun of for liking superheroes. Now it's the biggest thing on the entire planet, in the entire galaxy, in case of Marvel. Oh, okay. This early. Oh, why are you streaming this early? I'm streaming this early because I'm free right now, so I figured I would start streaming. Mobile gaming. No, okay, no, I hate mobile gaming, and I know everyone hates mobile gaming. Real gamers hate mobile gaming, but I'm praising it for what it has done for the medium of gaming, and how that everyone is now much more open and accepting to gaming and gamers and games in general, video games in general. And I think that was really important for the medium, like I'm saying. And because I'm talking about how just 4 days ago I played Fortnite for the first time. And Fortnite is like the most popular game of all time ever. And I was saying maybe not in stats in terms of people playing it, or in terms of, obviously not in terms of people who bought it, because it's free, but in terms of people who downloaded it, maybe not that. But its cultural impact is very, very, very significant. Hearthstone, Rockstar ports, and some old RPG ports are literally the only games I've played on mobile. Yeah, no, I know. I don't play games on mobile either. I don't. But I'm saying other people do that don't normally, like, they don't have consoles. And so that's opened up people more to video games. And Fortnite is sort of like the succession to that. Hey, Mofferet, welcome back. I'm talking about Fortnite. I don't know if you know anything about Fortnite, the video game, but I'm guessing that you've probably heard of it. Although you seem like you probably, if there's anyone who hasn't heard of Fortnite, it would be you probably. But if you have, that would exactly prove my point. So please say that you have heard of Fortnite. And Bryn, I'm saying that mobile games and people playing mobile games has opened up people to accepting playing video games. And Fortnite was like a natural progression in that too. The fact that it's free, the fact that the art style is like more... Oh, you have played it. Okay, exactly. There you go. No, I'm talking about how I've played it. When did you play it? You can emulate old consoles on mobile. That's really good. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've been meaning to play some of the Rockstar games on mobile, and I haven't yet because they're like $5, and I don't want to buy stuff on the Apple Store. There's just something about it. I remember when apps used to be free. Darn it. Now every app is like at least $2, and it's like, whoa, that's way too much. Back in my day, apps used to be free. How dare we support creators trying to create creative content, am I right? How dare we pay them money? Alright, let me see what I'm saying. About a month ago. Oh, okay, so you're kind of on the same boat. Did you only hear about it? Like, what got you to play it, Mofferet? Because I've been hearing about it for a year and a half now, and I just purposely didn't play it because I was like, oh, this is just a fad, it's just a trend, it'll fade away. And I didn't feel like getting invested in a new game because I knew, first of all, I haven't really played video games that much. I've kind of stopped playing video games altogether, which is a little bit sad, but at the same time I'm able to be a lot more productive now. And I didn't want to start sinking all of my time back into another video game and learning all of the mechanics and learning all the strategies and like, oh, what gun should I use? What gun should I use? Blah, blah, blah. Which, how do you build? You know, all that stuff. I just didn't feel like learning it all because I was like, oh, in a year or 2 years, everyone's going to stop playing it anyway, so there's no point. Which I guess I could have said that about any other game. And the thing is, I do say that now about a lot of other games, and that's why I don't play a lot of games now, so... Oh, okay. I was saying, what got you to start playing Fortnite? Or what got you to play Fortnite a month ago? Because I've been hearing about it for the past year and a half, and I knew about it, and I specifically chose not to play it even when I could have. And I was just explaining why. And yeah, Bryn, apps cost so much now on the Apple Store. It's so awful. I had an Android. I had an Android tablet. and I bought it used, and it's the only electronic that I've ever bought used before, and it's the only electronic that I will ever again buy used, because after like 6 months it stopped working, and now like I need to have it plugged in at all times to use it, and if I don't, it like explodes, like the screen like goes crazy, and then it shuts off, and then it'll go into a continuous cycle of shutting off and then turning back on, and then shutting off and then turning back on, and then shutting off and then turning back on, and there's nothing that I can do to stop it at this point, and it's really frustrating, so I just refuse to use it now, basically. Ooh, I like that. I don't know if this is too dark of a photo though now, so I will raise the shadows. Why is that not doing anything? Is my computer okay? Uh-oh. It's not okay. Okay, there you go. Let me see. It's fun to play with friends, so a bunch of us downloaded and started playing. Yeah, that's the sort of like, that's what's getting everyone so hooked. Is that like, it's free, you can play it any time, and the most fun part is to play with friends, obviously, yeah. Okay. But and so do you still play it then? Because it from what you said, it sounds like you don't play it anymore. But okay, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Because you said you played it once and then you stopped. So it was just like not for you really. Because I'm not very good at it either. But okay, the whole point is to say that I started playing it for the first time like 4 days ago, like less than a week ago. And then I was immediately hooked by it. And it was like all of that time that I spent not playing it, I kind of regret. But at the same time, I don't, because I was able to be more productive in that time. And even now, streaming, I'm like, I kind of want to go downstairs and turn on my PS4 and start playing Fortnite. But I won't. I refuse to. I gotta get this done. I will edit the photos and I will stream before I play Fortnite. I've gotta. What is it? Business before pleasure. That's the rule. Okay. Your internet just died. This hotel Wi-Fi is bad. Where are you, Bryn? I didn't know that you were traveling. Unless you told me. Oh, if you told me, I feel so bad. I didn't know if you told me or not before. Where are you that you're in a hotel with a bad Wi-Fi? Also, you missed my rant about apps costing so much now. Oh God, I don't remember. Wait. Let me think. Where did you say that you were going? Where did you say that you went? I will figure this out. I don't know. I don't remember. Oh God. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I forgot where you're going. Oh, so what do you play now, Mofferet, instead of Fortnite? Because for me, Fortnite is like this crazy new thing that I just discovered. It's like, I just discovered, you've probably never heard of it, because no one plays this game. It's this really obscure game that no one's ever heard of. It's called Fortnite. You probably don't know, you know, like that's me right now because I just discovered it. All right, what are we looking at? I'm liking that. Okay. One of the things that I look forward to playing again is the new Madden game for American football. That's funny how both of you in the chat right now are not in America. That's weird. And I'm American. You'd think that there'd be more Americans on here, but I guess not. I guess not photographing. I have to fix the. Oh, I didn't fix the chromatic aberration here. Okay. You're playing Life is Strange. Life is Strange, is that the one where you're like a little block? You're like a block of light? Or is that Life... No, that's Life is Tom or something, right? Which one is Life is Strange? Because I haven't played that one before. I hear about it. I hear about like all these really good games. And that's why I'm kind of sad that I stopped playing video games I basically stopped playing video games because I used to be really into it, and I used to be really into like following the video game news too, and being like, hey, what's the new cool game coming out? And then I just sort of didn't do that anymore, so now I don't. So I don't know what Life is Strange actually is. I've heard of it, and I hear that it's good, but I don't actually know what it is. Alright, I'm liking this. I kind of want to add some more saturation in here. I'm going to add some more saturation. But I think I'm going to do that in Photoshop. Because I want it to be more of a selective saturation edit. And if I do it here, it's not going to be selective enough. I also want to raise the brightness in general, and then reduce the shadows. Do something like that. Yeah, that's good. There you go. Okay. You're liking it. Okay. I think the last game before Fortnite that I really played that was new was... Oh, what's it called now? No. What's the game? Have you seen the game where like you're a guy with a hammer and you're like sitting in like a giant pot of gold, like it's like a leprechaun like kettle pot thing, and it's a computer game, and you use your mouse to like swing the hammer around, and you try to Getting Over It. It's called Getting Over It. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one. That's a game that I played and then I got super frustrated with, and then I was like, never ever ever again. I think I actually played it on stream once or twice. I can't remember. I know people wanted me to play it on stream because it's basically it's a great game for streamers because it's like meant to like get you angry. So like it evokes a lot of emotion because you spend a lot of time climbing up this hill with these really terrible controls, and they're terrible on purpose. And then like you make one wrong move and then you get booted all the way back down to the bottom of the hill. And then people just like rage over that. Yeah, I would suggest not buying it. Luckily it was gifted to me because I saw someone else streaming it. And I was talking about how like, oh, this looks like a really fun game. And it's something that when you watch as a viewer instead of playing it, you're like, oh, how hard could this be? You're over. I mean, you're just not any good at the game. It's really not that hard. Because that's what it looks like when you're just watching. But then when you actually start playing it, it's a lot harder than it looks. And so that's basically what I was saying. I was like, oh, is it really that hard? You're just clearly not any good at video games. So then someone gifted it to me over Steam, and I started playing it, and I failed miserably. So that will teach me not to open my mouth. I got pretty far, but the thing that was frustrating about it is that the controls just like straight up did not work properly. And I know that's part of the game, but also like it was not consistent. It was not consistent in how bad the controls were, which is what makes me angry, because it's okay if that's the point of the game, is to have terrible controls to make you mad and to make the game really hard. But if it's not consistent controls, then that's just a poor game. And I couldn't play it anymore. I had to stop playing. But I think that was the last new game that I got into. And that was just like a $10 computer game. That wasn't something that I was seriously gonna get into. I still enjoy playing Civ, the Civilization franchise. I have never played Civ 6 yet. I still play Civ 5, but I do that with friends. So that's a little bit different. It's social gaming is a little bit different. Like, I don't play anything by myself anymore. That's what I'm saying. It's because I don't really game anymore. It's so sad. I am really excited for Red Dead Redemption 2, because that's a game that the Red Dead Redemption is a game that I played a long time ago when it first came out, and I like fell in love with that game because it was so fun and so awesome. Yeah, yeah, it sounds frustrating because it is frustrating. It's definitely very frustrating, and it's frustrating on purpose, which is even makes it even more frustrating. Although it is funny, it's funny too, because it's frustrating on purpose. So there's like an annoying narrator, and he always makes a comment whenever you fall down the mountain. He's like, "Oh boy, that was really." He was like this really like posh British guy that is like purposely. He acts very superior to you, and he's like, "Oh boy, that was quite a fall, wasn't it?" And it's like, "Oh, shut up." But it's funny actually. But Red Dead Redemption 2 is something that I'm really excited for because I played the original when it first came out all those years ago, and I fell in love with it because it was such a cool concept of like going back and playing an open world like Western game, and it was really fun. And obviously, it's made by the same people that do GTA, so like it's not going to be bad. Like it can't be bad. It just can't be. And so now that Red Dead Redemption 2 is finally coming, I don't know if you played the original or not. But I am extremely excited for Red Dead Redemption 2. Let's see, let's look at that for a second. I like that. my main sort of processing here is just bump up the saturation, but I feel like I bump up the saturation, I bump up the contrast. The thing that I am afraid of is relying on that too much as a crutch. It seems like when I was going over your Instagram, Mafaret, that you sort of have a lot of different styles. You play around with a lot of different stuff, and I feel like I don't do enough of that. But it's hard for me to edit any differently, because to me that looks good, and to then do an entirely different style of editing is very difficult. Oh, although actually, I know I was talking about bringing things into Photoshop and possibly even doing some black and whites. I think some of these could work really well as a black and white. I think this actually might be able to work really well as a black and white. And I think stuff like this too, which isn't as interesting visually, could work as a black and white. So I'll try that. You just have to do it feels good for you and make the image right. Yeah, I gotcha. At the same time, I want to expand though too, because I don't want to be so set in my ways and like narrowed down to like just this, only this, nothing but this. Yeah. And I feel like that's what I do too often. But the next image, we can try it. We can see what's going on, what's what, and see if it works well. All right, I don't like the yellow back out here. I think it is better as like a more muted color. I don't know why that was so saturated in particular. And it's a lot better. All right. And I think that's good for now. I think the main thing with this stuff is that the sky, like bringing back the detail in the sky is really important. So that way it's something more interesting to look at. It completes the piece. I like the composition of this one actually. I think there's a lot of strange, like, abnormalities because like everything's poking out, like all these tree branches and everything are poking out. And I was talking about yesterday on stream how like this reminds me of like Freddy Krueger fingers like coming out and just like stabbing you. And it's kind of unsettling to look at. But aside from that, I feel like the composition is really nice. Like the blue down here, then the yellow like divider, and then the blue back up here. And it's not symmetrical. You know, you have this big bush down here where you have nothing down there. But it is really visually busy too. That might be a problem. Okay, we'll come back to it. We can always come back. This one is more of a challenge to work with because I don't think I was ever really... I think this one I'm just going to go right into black and white with. I'll just pull it into Photoshop. Okay. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 is something that I'm really looking forward to. Something that I'm really looking forward to. Also, what is it like? Can you talk to me about what it's like to... what is it like adjusting to the Spanish... to Spain Spanish? I don't know if you're still here or not. But I am learning Spanish. I'm a Spanish learner. And I really hate Spain Spanish. I hate the accent. And I hate the vosotros form. And from you coming from Venezuela going to Spain, what is that? Could you speak on to what that is like? I think that would be interesting. I forget why I marked this one as green. I did all this work yesterday. I did all this work debating on which of these two photos that I wanted to continue in on. And I don't know why I marked this one as green. And also I think I've changed my mind and like that one better. So I'm going to get rid of that one entirely. Your grandparents are Spanish and you don't know... Oh, you got used to it. Okay. So that was easier for you then. What about things like different like expressions? Like different cultural expressions? I'm sure there's a lot of... What is that like? I mean, you could say that about moving to any other country. Like, cause that's one of... I think that would be one of the scariest things. My mom is an immigrant to this country. And it always makes me think like how she... Not only do you have to learn the language, not only do you have to learn how to get into the country, but you also, in a way, you really have to learn like the culture too. And like who's the famous movie star? What's the hip new show on? Do you listen to the new music? You know, things like that. The different expressions are funny. And that's something that has always scared me, is like moving to a new place is like, you've gotta, to be able to communicate with other people, you have to understand the culture. And so like, what has that been like for you? I think that would be interesting. Let me see. There are different expressions. You've got to change some words and speak some stuff, but it's okay. Yeah, I guess it's different because it's still Spanish at least. At least it's the same base. It's not an entirely different language. But what about, like I was saying earlier, with like the culture? Of like, oh, everyone is, or the politics as well. Like going and understanding the politics, like which is part of the culture. Like, what's this party doing, and what are these people trying to do, and what do these people want? And on top of who's the cool new movie star, what's the famous thing now, what's the cool new song? They had a really big Spanish influence. Okay, gotcha. So it seems like you were able to more easily adjust because of the relationship between the two countries then, as opposed to something else. As opposed to, like, if you had moved to somewhere else, then it seems like part of it still eludes you. Yeah, I can imagine. Of course, I can imagine. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one in terms of editing. Because that's what's always scared me about, and I'm most likely never going to leave the United States, but just as a thought, it'd be like, what would it be like? Because it's like, as an American, like, I know nothing about any other country, like anything. Like, if I was to go to another country, I would be so lost in terms of the culture. Really, the culture is, to me, the most important thing. Like how could I, like, there's no way for me to communicate with you, because it's like, I don't know what you know. You know what I mean? Yeah, politics in Venezuela. Yeah, I got you. Okay, okay, got you. I guess it's just something that you have to adjust to over time, and then, you know, like, you've gotta. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's just got to be a really interesting experience. Things changed. What are you referring to with things changed? Because, for example, for me, like, I don't even know how I know about things, if that makes sense. Like, it's just like part of the culture. Like, it's just something that I just absorb it through other people talking about it, through seeing it around town, you know. And that's how you know, like, what's going on, and all about, like, the culture and the climate and everything in the country. Yeah, you're not going back to Venezuela. Yeah, I got you. So you have citizenship in Spain now, yeah? Oh, here, let me see. Oh, you always thought that you wanted to live abroad for a while. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, okay, when I go to college, my plan is to do a study abroad program. That's a little bit different than just living abroad, but the point would be to experience something else, something new, something interesting, while also, you know, studying and doing work and doing something, just, you know, having a different experience. Wow, there were no clouds over here. That's wacky. That's crazy. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Actually, this one might work better as that. No, I don't like that. I think you need that. You definitely need that. Okay. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. My plan has been. Let me see. To study abroad, so that way I can experience different new stuff, and I think that would be really cool. And I don't know if that's exactly, well, I'll ask you when you get back, but I don't know if that's exactly what you're referring to in terms of living abroad, because it's sort of two different things, but similar. Because I assume that you, okay, I'll ask you. There's no point in me just talking to no one. That's like a lyric to a Beatles song, isn't it? It's really hard. Have you noticed that it's really, really, really difficult to hum a song or sing a song while listening to another song? And it makes sense. Like, I'm not surprised by that fact. I'm just merely pointing it out as just in case other people weren't paying attention. Just in case you haven't had the experience of having to do that. It's definitely a real phenomenon. Is what I should say. All right. I'm liking this. I actually think that this one was kind of saved. I still don't like the colors. Really, of this whole set, the same thing could be said about a lot of the other photos in this set. Is that things look dead and disgusting in this photo set, because I was shooting in February, where plants and nature and wildlife was all dead and disgusting and decaying. And you can see that, and it's not necessarily something that is interesting to look at, or it doesn't attract my eyes. It's more just gross. And I don't know what to do about that, because if I artificially start adding in more colors, because I could do like some split toning stuff, and if I start artificially adding in more colors, then what is the point of that? You know what I'm saying? Is that if I add more colors into the photo to make it look more interesting, to make it look more vibrant, first of all, it's going to be very obvious, because this isn't meant to be vibrant. This isn't meant to be a vibrant, colorful scene. Yet, because it's not meant to be a vibrant, colorful scene, I don't feel particularly drawn to it. And so I don't know if I should even continue. There you go, sharpen it a little bit. I don't know if I should even continue editing these photos and working on them, because it seems a little bit, you know, like gross. Like things are dead. Like these are just like a bunch of dead trees. There's no beauty in it, I don't think. And usually I'm going out with my camera and I'm trying to capture something beautiful, or something. I'm trying to shed a light on something that is interesting to look at. But I don't find this too interesting to look at, because it's just dead trees. It's just a dead chunk of trees in this swamp, you know? Okay, but I'll move on. I'll just move on and I'll decide later about stuff. All right, let me mark these as 5 stars because they've all been edited. Actually, one of these wasn't. Crap. This one wasn't. This one I'm bringing right in to try to turn black and white because it's even less interesting. Okay, what about this one? Now this one is more interesting because it's more of a, you know, it's reaching out at you. I like these the branches of the trees to me, and I talked about this yesterday on stream too, is that the branches of the trees remind me of like someone's hand, like they're reaching out. They're reaching out and trying to grab you. I remember a movie, what was it called? Nightmare Before Christmas? The one with like Jack Skeleton or whatever his name is, the Tim Burton one, the stop motion Tim Burton movie, Nightmare Before Christmas. And it sort of, this whole set of like the dead, like it's like gothic almost in a way, like the gothic trees. That's really interesting to me. And that's what this reminds me of. Like it's like a skeleton reaching its arms out, like trying to grab you. And it's like this lanky, disgusting sort of figure in nature, and it's natural, but it's also kind of gross and something that we don't necessarily want to look at. That's what this reminds me of, but I don't necessarily want to look at it. So that begs the question: what are we doing? All right, here we go. That was good. That was a good change. Honestly, the colors on this are pretty spot on already. I don't even have to change anything. I don't want to saturate this anymore. I think the only thing I would do is take out some of the yellow, maybe blue it up a little bit. Let's blue this place up. But just a tiny bit. To make it feel a little bit colder, but not too much colder. All right, let's see. Let's look at that. All right, I like that. It's still really yellow. Why is it? It's more yellow now. Oh, because I made it more yellow. Okay. Whoops, I was going the wrong way. That's why. Okay. Let's look at that. I think that's a good look. I also think that, no, it's fine. That's yellow enough. We should bring back some of the vignetting on here. Because it adds a lot more to the photo. So let's do that. Alright, but not that much. Whoop, going the wrong way. I feel like I use too much vignetting sometimes, and so that causes some problems in terms of all of the photos looking exactly the same too. And I've been trying to avoid that. Let's see. But I don't think that's too much, necessarily. Alright, there you go. We'll just have it. We'll have the original amount. How fits. There you go. Okay. That's good. I'm also thinking about, let's see, in terms of contrast, I don't know if I want to add too much more contrast. If anything, I'd be reducing the contrast here. Just because, just to fit with the overall tone of the piece. Maybe something like that. And then we'll be done. Let's look at that. It's very subtle. I feel like they didn't even do anything, really, did it? It's not doing a lot. But I wanted to look a little bit more washed out than normal. Alright. Especially down there in the blacks. Alright. See, I don't know if that makes the image lose all of its interest or not. Because to me now it just looks more visually complicated to do that. And it's almost like I have less to look at now. I don't know if that's a problem. Let's undo all of that. Let's do that like by half now. So let's go to like 15. Okay. And I think I'm gonna end that there. Yeah, okay. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. All right, I'm gonna end that there. I think that's a good way to good place to stop for now, and we'll see what happens next time.